Breaking news right now at 5 o'clock. A new wildfire is threatening buildings, forcing evacuations in Weber County. I'm Brian McElhatton. Let's get right to it now. This fire right here is called the Willard Peak Fire. It got started just before 2:30 this afternoon by a car fire. No word on the acreage right now or containment at the time, but the smoke plume here is massive. You can see it all over the valley, even down into Salt Lake, if you have that clear view going up the Wasatch Front. We are bringing you team coverage of the fire watch tonight. Our Northern Utah correspondent Kay Gardner is live in North Ogden. Our chief meteorologist Alana Brophy is monitoring the fire danger, those conditions in the weather. But first, ABC4's Mackenzie Diaz first on the scene for us tonight. Mackenzie, you're in a neighborhood there. What are you seeing? Tell us all about it.
Hey, Brian. Yeah, we're in a neighborhood, right? And you can see right behind us, there's a big cloud of smoke. Helicopters are still bringing down retardant. And this neighborhood has been very busy as cars have been coming in and out all afternoon, just trying to get to their houses. But first, we want to bring in Scout, who's been here since 3:30. She lives nearby, and she's seen, kind of just talk to me about what you've seen, what you've heard, and that kind of thing.
I've seen a lot of traffic, and there's been like the fire's grown a lot. It's been gone more north, right? And basically there's just like a lot of traffic and there's a lot of smoke. And I've been just seeing the helicopters been flying by and stuff.
And you said you could see it from where you live. So tell us about where you live and kind of what you were seeing, and you smelt it too, right?
Yeah, I live in Ogden, which is just like over that way a little bit. And I could smell it, I could see the fire. There was a huge cloud of smoke and it grew a lot since I got over here.
And tell us a little bit about why you're here. You say you have an uncle that lives kind of nearby here, so you're checking in on him?
Yeah, I have an uncle that lives over here. We checked on him. He lives pretty far from the fire. And then there was a couple of friends that I wanted to check on and make sure they were okay.
We've been seeing a lot of fires throughout just this summer alone. How does it kind of make you feel? Like you said you kind of feel like scared a little bit?
Yeah, it makes me kind of scared because it just like that worries me about people's animals and people like getting hurt from it and stuff and having to evacuate.
Yeah, and the fact that it is so close to houses here too. We will bring you more information when we know more. Right now, fire crews say to stay out of the area and try not to come up this way with your car. Brian?
Okay, Mackenzie, that's good. You want to avoid that area because the firefighters are working. They're still coming up that way. As you were driving in from Salt Lake, did you notice that big plume of smoke?
Yes, we could notice the big plume of smoke from out on the freeway when we were coming in, and it's very prominent even here too. Just behind us, you can see there's still a little bit of orange flames that we saw earlier. The big plume of smoke is even more prominent from up here, but and we've been seeing fire crews dropping down that retardant all afternoon here. So we'll keep you updated when we know a little bit more.
Reporting for us, Mackenzie Diaz reporting for us. We can tell you that fire is about 75 acres right now. We also have power outages for several thousand people in the area. We're working to confirm the numbers. They've changed a little bit, but several thousand people without power in Ogden, in North Ogden. We know the Red Cross is working on some emergency aid for people who are affected as evacuations begin there. Another critical component of this, of course, is our chief meteorologist, Alana Brophy. She is tracking conditions. Alana, we've seen it all fire season long, conditions that are not favorable for those firefighters.
Yeah, lacking precipitation, very, very dry terrain. What's tough with this one is this is our backyard. This is happening along the Wasatch Front. We know the benches in North Ogden, that area well, with communities being impacted and evacuations underway. We have received a lot of viewer photos and pictures. Keep them coming. We're going to start, though, with this one. Tammy sharing this, and you're able to see the smoke coming off of that fire. Now, the winds are not helping here. We've got westerly winds, and that is pushing flames into very dry territory. Look at that plume of smoke as those flames jump around, and the wind will continue to jump those flames around as long as it's blowing. Wind gusts at 17 miles per hour. Here's a look at what's happening on the fire line with those mid-90s dry conditions and 17-mile-per-hour winds. At last check, 5 acres reported burned, but we know that those winds can easily spread flames. Why are we seeing a westerly flow? Well, we've got high pressure over us with with a clockwise rotation, that enhances the westerly winds along the Wasatch Front, and that upticks our fire danger. Look at those numbers coming out of Salt Lake and Wendover. So strong winds are a big problem with this fire. We do have red flag warnings in effect for the Wasatch Mountains right now, and we're talking benches. So that is not the valley floor as we watch this fire threat climb to the higher elevations. Southern Idaho, southwestern Wyoming also looking at fire danger. As we step back, you see additional alerts that have been posted that go into effect tomorrow. On top of that high heat, 101 is where Salt Lake topped out our 6th triple-digit day of the year. At last check, Ogden was sitting at 100. Some of the sensors in the upper 90s, 103 in St. George. So the heat is on and the wildfire threat doesn't ease. An elevated risk heading into tomorrow. We'll talk about the reason why and how long this threat lingers coming up in my full forewarned forecast. Brian, for now, we'll send it back over to you.
Okay, we'll check in with you later, Alana. Thank you. Continuing our team coverage now, our northern Utah correspondent, Cade Gardner, joining us from Weber County. Cade, this is your home turf here. Give us the lay of the land and what you're hearing and seeing out there.
Yeah, Brian, I was actually just talking to some neighbors. We were talking about how we are essentially neighbors because I live maybe 3 minutes down the road. We were talking about some of the things we like to do out here. But we also talked about how this is kind of the game you play when you live here on the bench in Utah. I was talking to a family. They say that this is something they prepared for. If you look behind me, we had one mom. She was out at work. She got a call from her daughter saying there is smoke coming from behind our neighbor's house. You can see the helicopters taking off. They have a setup right now where they can come pick up water, take it back up the mountain, pour it on those flames. They've actually done a really pretty good job just in the last hour or so of putting up a barrier to keep these flames from coming down to the homes. But you can see the homes behind us. There is still smoke. There is still some active fire. But I want to say I've seen 3 helicopters. They also have a plane that's dumping retardant. They are doing a great job at getting this under control. Again, I was telling you, I was talking to a couple families. A mom from one of the families was telling me again that this is something they've prepared for, and they know that this is something that can happen when they live in the beautiful mountains of Utah. Here's what she said.
My dogs and get them safe, and anything that was like really important documents or anything like that, just quickly get it up there in case we needed to evacuate and then get them somewhere safe.
Okay, so that was Felicia, and again, she tells me they know this is something that can happen. She was working down in Salt Lake City when she got the call that, yeah, there's a fire close nearby. She rushed up here, made sure that her family, her dogs, their documents were taken care of. They're now just hanging outside with their other neighbors. They tell me they are impressed with how well the firefighters have worked so far, but they're gonna be kind of on the edge of their seat throughout the night because they know at any moment this could spark back up. Brian?
Cade, we know that there are evacuation orders in place in that area, in some of those neighborhoods. Are you seeing people packing up and leaving? Are you seeing people just being looky-loos and watching the fire burn? What's the scene where you are right now?
Yeah, well, there are a lot of looky-loos. I'm actually up the hill a little ways away from Mackenzie where she's at. There were a lot of people lining the street. I talked to a few of them as I was walking up here. Most of them were from the Ogden area, but not necessarily this neighborhood. That's why I made my way further up, because I wanted to see who was standing outside of their homes, who could talk to me. The neighbors I've talked to, they're kind of on watch, but they're not told that they need to leave yet. But as I was talking to them, there were a lot of cars coming down the hill from the homes closer to the fire. I don't know if those are the people that are maybe under evacuation orders or if they're just getting themselves out in preparation for those evacuation orders to come down on them. I haven't seen anyone packing up anything and bringing it outside from their homes. But again, I've only been on scene for maybe 20 minutes, so I haven't had really a good chance to go out and talk to everyone that I could while I was here.
We know that you will continue to talk with folks there and keep us apprised of the situation. Our northern Utah correspondent, Cade Gardner, for us there near the fire. Cade, thank you. I want to show you this picture now, a wider look from Washington Boulevard at Larson Lane in Ogden. You can see the smoke plume moving its way up the mountain there. You can see how the wind is blowing the smoke. Again, about 75 acres on this fire. It's not a large fire, but it's very visible and it's close to homes, which is why firefighters are being very serious about this and issuing some evacuation orders for those neighborhoods. We are going to be in that area all evening long, monitoring the situation, and we'll keep you posted just as soon as things change.